Hey everyone, it's Brett Hornby here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to another Calgary Stampeders game day post. Seems like it's the only thing I've been able to have time to make recently. But what a Calgary Stampeders game day post we'll have is now we're up to week 13 in the CFL Regular season for 2025. The calendar turns to September. You know what that means? Actually, the way how things work in 2025, well, Labor Day, the good old Labor Day Classic, will actually be on Monday, September the 1st. It'll be a 4 p.m. kickoff at McMahon Stadium as my Calgary Stampeders. They're going to be taking on our provincial rivals, the Edmonton Elks, or they're always going to be called the Eskimos to me. It's always an anticipated matchup, and there'll be a few storylines to touch upon. But the Calgary Stampeders coming to this one, they are 7-3, second in the West Division. They're still looking to keep pace with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who actually they won their Labor Day Sunday game against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in a wild 34-40 victory. So all Calgary can do is potentially keep pace with Saskatchewan Roughriders, while the Edmonton Elks, they are fifth and last in the West Division, but they are actually right now 4-6, and they have won their last three games, and actually both teams are coming off of wins last week, as Edmonton won 30-20 on the road against the Ottawa RedBlacks, while the Calgary Stampeders, they are coming off of a 32-15 win over said Saskatchewan Roughriders from week 12. And another way you can break down these records, well, Calgary, we are 7-3. Well, Calgary's perfect against the West Division. They have not lost to anyone in their division, as we have beaten Saskatchewan and Winnipeg both times we have played them, and then Edmonton actually has not won against their own division. So Calgary is a perfect 5-0 against the West, while Edmonton is 0-4 against the West. So those are our records to look at, and this is the first of three that Calgary and Edmonton will play this season. As always, the next game will be on Saturday with the rematch game up at Edmonton, and Calgary will be playing Edmonton one more time up in Edmonton towards the end of the season. But many storylines for this one. As you could say, we were anticipating this in the off season. Well, after when the Calgary Stampeders decided to move on from Mark Killam, our longtime special teams coordinator, well, it's his first time coming back to Calgary as a head coach now with the Edmonton Elks. So we have that storyline going on. But the Calgary Stampeders, I'm going to say, we got some players of our own that are playing for the good guys now, especially Tevin Jones. He had a big game against Calgary last year on Labor Day. Well, we did sign him to a contract in the offseason, so Tevin Jones will be with Calgary now this year, and he's back in the lineup. Same with Dominic Grimes, so at least you got Dominic Grimes and Tevin Jones back in the lineup. Be interested to see how Vernon Adams Jr. will play for Labor Day, as all the years he's played in the CFL, he's never started on a big stage Labor Day Classic, either here in Alberta or in Saskatchewan. And it's Cody Fajardo, who has been one of the reasons why Edmonton has won their last three games, as he has started the last few games, and he's definitely familiar with Labor Day, especially with his time with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And then another player that's also familiar with Labor Day on the Sunday date, but he's actually going to make his debut with the Calgary Stampeders as Adam Bighill. Yeah, the middle linebacker. He will be behind Derek Moncrief on the depth chart, but Adam Bighill, coming back from a knee injury from last year, is going to make his Stampeder debut. So I'm going to say the Stampeders roster looks a lot stronger coming into this game, but a lot of players now playing for the good guys, and coaches that used to be on the good guys' side Now on the bad guys' side, and so all these extracurriculars and storylines can hype up the Labor Day Classic, and just with the natural Battle of Alberta between Calgary and Edmonton, and I'm definitely going to be back in the stands. Sorry for lack of being in the stands this season, but this has been a busy, hectic year, just how things have worked out, and same with the weather. So, yeah, I should be back in the stands for this one, and anticipating this game for all time's sake. And it's hard to believe. I guess, I'm getting old. Not only how long I've had season tickets for, but 30 years ago, I had my first live Labor Day game in 1995 when we did play the Edmonton Eskimos, and that game I was going to remember for Jeff Garcia did some extraordinary things that day by throwing 6 touchdown passes. So I'm going to say nothing's going to really top my first one, but we'll see how this one lives up to the hype with all the players coming back, players switching sides, coaching switching sides, and just with the natural rivalry that we have with Calgary and Edmonton. And just looking at the West Division, it's definitely right now the stronger division in the CFL this season, which seems always been the case the last several years. But Edmonton, despite being last in the West Division, they're not out of it, and they have won 3 in a row, and Calgary's won the last 2, and we have mastered beating Winnipeg and Saskatchewan so far. We'll see if we can continue mastering against Edmonton, because actually, since the name changed to the Elks, and after when COVID wrecked everything, actually both teams are 2-2, and actually all time. Another story to get added with the Labor Day Classic in Calgary and Edmonton. It's tied. As all time, it's 31-31 and 1 with a tie thrown in there. And Edmonton has won 2 of the last 4, including last year where they beat us. I believe it was 35-10, and that was including with Tevin Jones on Edmonton throwing or receiving over 200 yards. So, like I say, many things to look forward to. As always with Labor Day, it's always an appreciation for our armed forces with the Jets. So our military appreciation, and thanks to all those who have served for Canada. So that's all I have for Labor Day. There's a lot to jam in, but it's always the biggest game of the regular season and all the hype with the Battle of Alberta. So as I say, you want to close out, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, just make sure you hit like, subscribe. I have my other social media links down in the description below. Now that we're finally approaching September, going to be anticipating CFL season heating up, hockey season around the corner, and as well, we're into September here. It's also going to be the month that later, towards the end of the month, this Calgary sports fan is going to be making his first ever trip to Montreal. So hopefully I can finally catch up on some content before I go to Montreal, and like we'll make some videos when I'm in Montreal. So I say go Stamps go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.